Hello! We are here. We are back for another episode of Catching Up with Franco. Episode 368, I think, maybe? Or 19. I can't remember. But today's guest, we are here with none other than the incomparable Mitch Hallock.
Hey kids, how are you?
Hi, Mitch. How are you?
Franco, Wayne.
As always with us is Wayne, commentator Corraller. How are you, Wayne?
Pretty good. I feel short.
Yeah.
You are.
Don't know why.
Yeah. Well, Mitch likes to sit above everybody else. It's that power play.
Oh no, I could adjust my inner tube. I sit on like the truck drivers, so my asshole doesn't fall out.
Oh, yeah, we're starting to.
We're already off on that. Yeah,
We're live. Yeah.
Class this show up. That's what I do.
Tell us what you think about Star Trek Discovery.
Oh no.
No, let's not go there.
I'm on vacation right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use offensive language. Yeah.
It's all right. I've been called worse. It's fine. So how you been? How's things? What's going on with you?
See, I have to talk about Zoom video call etiquette. I get called out on my other show that I do. Do you want me to look straight into the camera? And that way the people at home, it looks like I'm looking at them. Or if I look down at you, like I was trained to do in Catholic school, make eye contact, it looks like I have a lazy eye.
Oh.
Just saying, this is the stuff that's happened over the last year that we never thought twice about. But I've had people write letters and go, is something wrong with your eye? I go, no. They go, well, why is it like looking down? I go, because that's where the person is right there. They go, no,
right.
Look up. So well, if I'm doing this, I don't know what the hell you're doing down there. So,
well, it's we're flashing signs at you, but if you know anything about this show whatsoever, you know that we are here to talk about Loki and Raiders of the Lost Ark tonight, but we probably won't even get to either of those. We veer off topic and go on to other things, and Wayne reads out comments. People yell at us. The two people that are watching will yell at us and you know, say things and do things. And I just draw, and you could draw if you want to as well. And,
I've been waiting to. I got a whole box of new Crayolas.
Yeah. So for those of you out into the Ethernet's worlds, there's a whole bunch of different places you can watch this. You can watch this on YouTube. You can watch this on a whole bunch of different Facebook channels. If you're watching us right now, you're probably there. You can always watch past episodes on patreon.com/Franco_. All the episodes are up there for free, so you can watch those and see what we draw and what we talk about and stuff like that. Mitch is here because you have a show coming up soon in end of July, August, what's it called? I can't read your shirt.
The New York City Rockettes. It's the Christmas Spectacular. We're going to do it off season just to freak people out. No, it's called Terrificon, Connecticut's Terrific Comic Con. It's in the name.
Right. And you're like one of the first shows that's going to go
yes.
full open.
I'm the Chuck Yeager of Comic Cons.
Nice.
Right. I'm going to ride this sucker, chase that demon up beyond the clouds. Yeah.
You're hurtling to that horizon, never knowing if you're coming back.
I'm going to punch a hole in the sky. That's me.
Right.
Give me some demons.
And from what I understand, you're slumming it with guests because I'm going to be there. Then you have higher caliber guests as well, right?
No, he shot himself in the foot. He won't be coming. I do have a guy with a water pistol. No, I do have higher. I should not boast about it, but
yeah, you should.
We have better comic book artists than you coming. So no, I'm sorry.
No, it's true. Your wife will yell at you also. Yeah. Your wife has already yelled at me before we even got on because we have to mention it's your anniversary today. So happy anniversary.
I already heard about it.
Yeah. At about 7 this morning, I get a text from your wife saying, "Really? You're having him on the show on my anniversary? Oh, thanks a lot." Yeah.
No, that's okay. I canceled the other show I was supposed to be on because I don't look at the calendar. I just know the days, kind of like, oh, it's 2 days after New Comic Book Day. That's how I mark my time. and you said you want to come on Friday. I went, okay. That's 2 days after Prince Spaghetti Day, after
Right.
Loki, and it should be fine. And
Wow.
what
See,
happened is, yeah,
we're
that's
very
what-
old because nobody knows what Prince Spaghetti Day is anymore.
he died, Anthony. I saw that like a year ago. I felt very upset. But
Oh, man. Wait, did you get Prince Spaghetti Day up in the Canada waves?
No, we didn't get that up there
Oh,
that I'm
yeah.
aware of, or in my city at least.
Yeah. See, it was Prince brand spaghetti.
Oh,
And
no.
and a lady, the commercial was a lady would yell out the window, and she'd yell, Anthony!
Yeah.
Anthony! And Anthony would be running around in the
miles
neighborhood.
away like a dog whistle. He'd be,
Yeah.
"Oh, I've got to go
Yeah.
home, guys," and he would drop everything and run down the street.
He was in another city entirely. Like she was in Philadelphia and he was like in Hoboken or something like that. And he can hear her.
And he'd show up exhausted. He'd come up the flight of stairs and then he'd just like,
yeah.
What? And she's like, "Oh, we're having pasta again."
With spaghetti. And he's like, again?
They didn't cut the 10 seconds after that where it's like, God.
We didn't have it, but we had the commercials.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, we saw it, but up here it's more Chef Boyardee.
Ew.
Chef. See, was his name Bo and his last name Artie. That way it just sounds more fancy. Chef.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, no, we had the commercial.
Who you got coming to the show, Mitch?
Oh, I'm sorry. Back to reality. We've got people like John Cassidy, Donnie Cates. Oh, for goodness sakes! Now you got me. Dan Jurgens, Jerry Ordway. God, a lot of them. I'd go up on the website, but I can't do that right now. That's
what I'm here for.
That's what we got Wayne for.
Yeah, Wayne, scroll down there and tell me who I already paid for their.
All right, pulling everyone up.
Franco's
going to be there.
That's all you got to say. Yeah, that's
right.
No, there's more stars than there are in the heavens.
You got Amanda and Jimmy coming.
Oh, that's right. Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. Yeah.
Michael Golden.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Morales.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of people.
No, you're on go to the top because I can tell I put them alphabetically. Oh, Sean Murphy is coming here, Mr. Batman White Knight. Tim Sale, Klaus Janson, Lee Weeks,
Dave Johnson.
Dave Johnson. It's all coming to me now. So yeah,
you're getting the essential guys coming.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
There you go. And then on the other side, we got celebrities. We've got Michael Rooker from the Guardians of the Galaxy, Sean Gunn, Guardians. My wife wanted the guy from Gilmore Girls, Scott Patterson, so he's coming. Voiceover folks from
anniversary present. There you go.
That's it. Batman animated voice actors, Justice League United voice actors, Land of the Lost cast reunion. That was for me because I'm a dork and I want you to hang out. You haven't lived till you party with Chaka. That's what I'm going to put on my grave. He and I.
You have David Gerard.
I can't wait.
Gerald,
actually,
the man who created Tribbles on Star Trek. He also created Land of the Lost. David Gerald. He'll be there. Larry Kenney, Mr. Lino from Thundercats.
Mm-hmm.
Firestar, who was also Sissy on Family Affair, if you remember that show. Jeff, what is it?
Yeah.
Jody and Buffy and Mr. French. Yeah.
So wow.
She was there. I mean, it's Adrian Paul, the Highlander. There should be only one, that type of thing.
And we should mention that Terrificon is actually at Mohegan Sun, so there's like a whole casino complex there as well.
They don't know this already? I mean, what's
know.
going on? It's like Yankee Stadium is at the Yankees play there. But yes, Mohegan Sun, Connecticut's largest exposition center.
I like where it's located. Where Uncasville? Is that how you say it? Uncasville?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you don't like Uncas?
No, I do. I like saying it. Uncasville.
Uncas. Yeah. Yes, it's named after one of their legendary leaders, Uncas. Mm-hmm. So there you go. It's everything and more that you could want in a Comic-Con, and you've been there. As you describe it, it's like going in a submarine. You go in on Thursday, You come out on Monday, you have no idea what happened in between. So
Well, it's weird from our perspective, from the artist perspective, because you put us up in the hotel in the casino, and then the exposition center is located like attached to it. So
yeah,
I come in on Thursday, I don't see daylight till Sunday when
that's what I'm
I
saying.
leave.
Like
So
it's not.
it's kind of weird and fun, but I'm like, oh, this is what non-canned air feels like outside.
Yeah,
But it is a good time.
The air they pump in, it's got extra oxygen. So air, I always said everybody loves Terrificon. They talk about how great they're feeling and how alive. They're high as a kite. It's all the pure oxygen. It's like, yeah, man, let's draw all night. So sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna draw as well.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. So we're gonna do stuffs. I don't know what you're drawing. I'm gonna draw some.
I'll draw whatever you want.
I'm gonna draw some Zatanna, I think.
Ooh.
I got her all penciled out here.
Oh, look at you.
And this is how much work I've done building up to this. I drew this last week sometime, and I just haven't been able to get to it. So I figured I would ink it here.
Well, you know what, Mr. Art Teacher? I went to school for art, and one of my biggest problems, it's like therapy, is I never had my own style. I could adapt to anybody else. Like if you said draw like John Byrne, I'll draw like Byrne. If you draw like Jack Kirby, I'll do Kirby, Ditko. So I could always do that. But the problem with that is you don't come up with your own unique style. And what's your suggestion for that?
I was going to say, don't ask me because I don't know if I have a style.
Oh, you do.
I just kind of, I like to change it up all the time. I like to do pop art stuff. I like to do cartoony stuff. So I like to change and do different things. But I think just a style that just makes you happy.
Yeah,
is what I usually do.
I was a big John Romita fan, so mine always have thick eyebrows. Or maybe it's just because I'm Italian. I just like the thick eyebrows.
You grew up with that, so that's
everybody. There was two. There was a one. There was two, and I always thought about that. Like, why do everybody I draw, the women, the men, they all have big eyebrows? But that's just my personal problem.
That's a question for therapy, I think. Not
about
really
the style thing.
No, about the eyebrows.
Oh. No, and then there's a bunch of different ways I can do this sketchy stuff, or I can do this. I'm not a clean line draw artist like a George Perez. I'm more of a scratchy type of thing, which I've heard people say that means you're not confident in your line. I'm like, screw you.
No, you know what it is, and I always tell my students this. It's because they're a lot of times they question me about like they don't want to copy anything,
right?
And I tell them that's copying is fine because that's how you learn how to draw.
Correct.
That's how you learn different styles. That's how you learn to develop your own style. But then eventually you're going to have to not copy, and then the way that you're comfortable drawing is your style. That's what comes out of it. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I don't worry at this point. I'm so old. Caring about what people think is kind of not.
But the other thing is that you don't draw every single day, like all day long either. So I mean, that's
No, I do. I used to do it professionally back in the 90s when I'd get a paycheck. Once I learned how to draw a paycheck, I stopped drawing the other way.
I get it. That's funny.
No, but no, I mean, I've told you this. I went to Marvel. I got a job offer. They didn't pay enough, so I said, "To hell with this." Actually, my dad did. He was like, "How much do they want to offer you? What are you, insane? To work in New York City?" No.
Oh, so your dad made you not take the job?
Correct. And he said, because I was an art director in Connecticut, and he says, "You're just going to be a number in New York." And he was right, because that fall Marvel laid off 480 people, so I probably would have been amongst those.
Wow.
Last hired, first fired type of thing, But
That's crazy.
Yeah, they only offered 23,000, dude. I was making 40,000 as an art director in Brantford, Connecticut. So.
And what were you doing? What were you art directing in Connecticut?
Lamination catalogs, office products, but they were all weird because when I got the job, it looked like a boring Staples catalog, that type of thing. And the guy said, "Do whatever you want," because he was like a little messed up, drank a lot, and I was 23, and I liked comics and movies. So next thing you know, there was comic book covers and movie designs like Raiders of the Lost Ark and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
and there it happened. Yeah, this is looking like Mr. Magoo. I don't know why, but I'm trying to think of what villain looks like this. Turn him into
So you're deciding what you're drawing as you're drawing it, or
yeah,
or do you have a...
yeah. I usually just do a squiggle, and whatever I think it looks like, I'll just start drawing that. It's kind of weird, but it happens. Like right now, it's just an old man with a cloak on his head, like the Emperor. Yeah, maybe it'll be the Emperor.
There you go.
We'll do that today. And they drew the Emperor's big bump on his head. You didn't know what the hell that was.
So as always, we'll talk about stuff, and my wife has just come down into the laundry room, so she's making a whole bunch of noise because I always tell her, I make sure I tell her I'm going to be live, so try not to make as much noise as you possibly
Did you tell her I
can.
gave up my anniversary for you?
Yeah, and she said, why are you having him on the show then? Like, she actually blamed me for your anniversary, like booking you on the show.
Your wife is a smart woman.
No, so yeah, I always tell her that I'm going to be live, not to make any noise, and she's in there making all this noise right now. So it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Well, I can get away with drawing Scratchy if I'm drawing the Emperor because he's all wrinkled and shit.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of the Emperor,
we do have a question for Mitch.
Oh yeah.
Adam Illas Walenta wants
to
know, hook me up.
Yeah.
I want to go. I just need a plane ticket and a room.
Well, Adam, I can't make plane tickets appear, and Franco still owes me a lot of money. So
yeah, that's why I'm going. I'm going for free.
Adam, I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying this year when I was planning out the show back in January, February, I had no idea what the world was going to be like. So I kind of made a conscious decision to be a little conservative. So, I mean, there's a lot of guests coming to Terrificon this year, but it's not like 2019 when there was like 300 of them. So
yeah, well, one of the things actually you and I did, we worked together to make the kids section like a big area of the show last year, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, we didn't know what was happening, so we're not doing any of that this year because of but hopefully it'll return next year. But, yeah,
I mean, I think every day the world's going slowly back to normal or fast back to normal, depends on when you look at the news. Because I'll watch the sports and they show like the Los Angeles Dodger Stadium is full of 50,000 people. A month ago, there was like 3 guys there. So I don't know what happened with that.
Were the 3 guys within the 50,000 as well, or?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're not sure.
Like even Mohegan, when I was planning the show out in February, I had a different floor plan because I was spacing everybody apart, like 10 feet between each booth, and the aisles were 40 feet wide.
Right.
And then the governor came out in April, and he loosened some of the restrictions up, and he said, let's see how things work. And then they got better, and then they loosened them up even more in May 19th. They opened up everything. And here we are now in almost July, and things are still getting better. So we're getting there. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't have this year that I normally do. I don't have the Batmobiles because I was thinking at first, like, oh, is that a cool thing to have people jumping inside a car and touching stuff? Because remember when this broke out, you couldn't touch cardboard boxes and, you know, you had to wash everything down. So
right.
Every day there's something new and they're learning new things about.
Well, the
virus.
protocols that you have in place for the show are phenomenal because you told me that like when everybody walks in, they get power washed, right?
Yes, they do. They get laminated, and then I dip them all in rubbing alcohol. No,
So you're taking care of the cons
and then,
smell.
Yeah, and then you slab everybody, right,
what
into
it is
a CGC slab.
No, Mohegan, unlike other convention centers, like you said, it's attached to a big casino resort. They've been open since last June, and they have all these other safety protocols put in before I show up. They have a temperature check, so when you walk into the building, you're already scanned like the Predator.
Wow.
You know? And it's like if you're above 99.9, bing, something goes off, and then they come over to you and say, "Hey, can we check your temperature?" And and if you're too hot, you can't come in. So that's something. And then they install these UV lighting things throughout the facility that does stuff with the virus germs and stuff. And then there's Purell sanitizer like every 10 feet now. They have all these stands. So they've gone above and beyond. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, they don't have all that stuff there, but people still go every day. So they're doing an excellent job making sure everyone's safe. So
that's cool. I'm excited because I haven't been out of my house literally in like 3 years at this point. So I'm excited to go and be amongst others of my kind.
You know what stinks? I lost some COVID weight and then I found it again. So I'm putting it back. Because I was doing nothing but walking the dog every day. Poor Harley. But it is what it is.
What else we got? We got any other questions out there for Mitch and stuff?
No, that's it.
Adam, are you serious?
Just the one.
I'm serious.
You should have got somebody else.
No, I wanted you to be in trouble with your wife. That's why
why I'm here. Yeah.
Yep. So, have you guys watched Loki at all?
Yes.
Yes.
And are we liking?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's about it. I'll give you the one-word answers. When I interviewed Mike Mignola years ago for a podcast, that's all he did for me. One-word answers. Yes. No.
Nice.
No. The thing about Loki is how familiar are you with all the characters?
Pretty familiar because I watched it.
No, but my son came running down after he watched episode 2 this week. Can we do spoilers?
Yeah, we warned everybody that there's spoilers, and
right.
They kind of know this already. So there's going to be spoilers for this and for Raiders of the Lost Ark, maybe.
Don't tell him the shark eats Indy at the end. Oops.
Oh, man.
No, but my son goes, "Who is that woman at the end of Loki?" And I go, "Oh, that's Lady Loki." He goes,
"Yeah, that's
Who?"
Loki. Yeah.
I said, "That's who he was talking to for the whole show. What's the problem?" He goes, "I didn't get that." God, man.
Yeah, see,
watching?
people who aren't into comics. I had somebody at work come up and ask me if I watched Loki because apparently I'm the comic guy at work.
You're the guy, yeah.
And they're like, "Did you watch Loki?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I was so confused. What was happening? Like, who was that lady?" And I'm like, did you not watch the episode?"
He was jumping into all these other guys' bodies prior to that. So why?
Well, not only that, but in the beginning of the episode, they said, they're looking for a variant, and the variant, like, if you look, they showed that little screen, and they were showing different. You couldn't see them clearly, but you were seeing different versions, and one looked like a big Hulk type of Loki, and one looked, they all had different looks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how did you not catch that? Were you paying attention?
Yeah. Well, what show were you watching?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, "What do you mean you didn't know who that was? They told you." But he was lost.
Did you tell him to go back and watch it again?
Nah. You know what? Do you end up watching these things twice?
I don't, just because of time. I want to.
Well, I'll watch it glued to my set, and then I'll watch these YouTube videos where it's like 76 things you might have missed in this week's Loki. And then I go, "Oh my God,
many.
Really? That many? What happened? That's what that was?" And then I'm thinking, how does this guy know? Maybe he's making crap up and we don't even know about it, So.
Well, how many times are those guys watching it is what I want to know.
Oh, and the weird thing is those are on like within an hour of the show. So I'm like, how did they get all this video and fact research at 5 a.m?
Yeah, Wayne, how do they do that? Do you know?
Yeah.
They're watching it on slow motion,
Oh.
frame
they
by
really?
frame.
And you
Do
know
they really?
how many downloads they get? Oh, it's crazy. Why don't you get 50,000, Franco?
Do they watch it the first time all the way through, like without slow mo,
stopping it?
or do they watch it the first time with slow mo? Because that's what I'm confused about.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good
Or they got a copy of the script and they're just writing it down.
No.
That's not
They're
a
just
thing.
fanboys.
That's not a thing.
I don't know where they're doing it, but they are interesting. And I don't know why I believe them. Like what they say is truth. I'm like, oh, he must know something. I'm like, what does he know?
Well, what are some of the things that we missed?
Well, Owen Wilson, here's what I thought was going to happen. Loki's upset because he saw how he's going to die. And he's like, I can't live with that. Well, he's not going to. So his plan is to take over the TVA and alter the timeline so he doesn't have to die when Thanos crushes his neck. And now he's teamed up with the variant, and they show the timelines going out of whack. And I think that's the whole plan all along. That's what he's going to do. He's going to try to come back into the Marvel universe.
You don't think he's going to come back as a good guy?
Like an anti-hero?
Yeah.
I think that's, well, do they want to make every villain a good guy nowadays? I mean, can we live with bad guys? Everybody's got to be misunderstood.
Not misunderstood, but he has a change of heart because
Well, I didn't watch Cruella, but I heard that was the big deal. They kind of gave the backstory of the lady who wanted to make the Dalmatian coat, and they're like, "Oh, she's not such a bad guy, or villain," you know.
Right. It was Cruella.
Kind of like when they did that to the Grinch. You know, you start giving the reasons why he's so upset.
Why is he so upset?
I think didn't he have a toy taken from him as a kid?
I thought his shoes were too small.
Huh?
I thought his shoes were too small or too tight.
Yeah, there was something not right, and next thing you know, he goes on a killing spree.
Is that what happens? He goes on a killing spree.
I might have watched the Quentin Tarantino version of it. I don't know. So
I didn't get a toy, so now I'm gonna kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Hey man, The Grinch is not a story for the faint of heart. But
I like Loki. I love how each show, and I've said this before, but I love how each show is very different from each other. Like Wanda was very different from Winter Soldier and Falcon Winter Soldier, and how this is very different than the other stuff. I'm digging that a lot, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know, you spent that money. Disney's not just taking it, and you know they're actually working for it.
They're getting it from me. So
unlike the what was that DC World? I watched those. I mean, they were interesting to watch, but I didn't hold my
CW.
interest. No, not the CW. The DC online thing. It had the Titans. It had Doom Patrol. There was another one.
Pennyworth?
No, that was
Stargirl.
Pennyworth was on Stars.
Yeah,
which was actually a good show.
I heard that it was a good show. I don't have the Stars.
You're thinking of Swamp Thing?
Yes, Swamp Thing was well done.
Yes.
So,
oh yeah, because you had
I had Derek Mears.
Derek Mears, right? Yeah, you had him at the show last year or the year before.
2 years ago. I keep doing that too.
Yeah.
I keep going. Remember last year? And people are like, "No, that was 2 years ago, dude."
Nope.
Mark did that to me at All Yeah Comics. I walked in and I had to park my car down the street, and I said, "When did they put that building up over there?" He goes,
across the street, yeah.
2 years ago. And I go, "No." He goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I go,
yeah, because we were closed down for the better part of a year.
And they had time to do all that construction?
Yeah, construction still continued.
Oh, it was so weird. I was like, "There's a building?" I used to park my car.
Yep.
And the store's different because I said, "Why is this big bookcase here in the middle of nowhere? And the couch is gone." I'm like, "What happened?" I woke up from the blip. Thanos snapped me away.
That's what it was. Because Avengers happened right before the pandemic. That's the last big movie we saw before the pandemic. Man.
What? 2019. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That affected us more than we thought it was going to.
Boy, that's a marketing tie-in. Got to give it up to Disney. We'll keep them in their house for a year and a half, and they won't know what happened.
I know this is going to be the new conspiracy theory that it was all Disney's fault.
It was Disney's fault. They needed to get people to subscribe to their service, so they shut down the world. Why not?
Crazy.
I'll believe it. I'll buy that for $1. But it is good, yeah. And when is it going to end, though? See, that's the problem with being a comic book nerd. You can't just enjoy things what they are. You always have to look for the bad part, and when's it going to go wrong, you know?
Well, I mean, especially as us looking at this from a comic book perspective.
Yeah.
Are you watching these shows and looking for the little things that would mean something else or that will go somewhere else? You know, like, 'cause you know the comic book stuff, and you're trying to read how much of this is in here, how much is going to go, what are they going to do, type thing.
I am, but and they even go off the, like, he was walking through that convenience store in episode 2, and there was an Arm and Hammer logo in the background, and all I kept thinking was that is a Thor in joke or something, you know, because it's at the hammer. But because I read the whole Walt Simonson TVA back in the 80s, and I'm like, oh, should I be looking for a lot of references? Because most people haven't read that, so I don't think they're going out of their way to please me. Do you?
I don't think so.
Like,
I think they changed it up enough that everybody's surprised with things and where they're going.
You know, my wife, she doesn't like any of this stuff. You know that.
Right.
She likes you, but that's about your comic fandom goes. Yeah. And Ordway depends on the day if he's calling our house looking for a sub pump or something. No. But I think I go, would she watch this stuff? And she watches things like what was that thing?
Brightburn?
No, it was
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. She watches that stuff, and
I my wife does too. Yeah.
What the hell, man? It's just a big comic book.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing because my wife watched the first episode of Loki.
Yeah.
She was on her phone most of the time while she watched it, and then then the other day we were going to watch episode 2 because now I'm all confused because they used to drop on Fridays. Now they drop on Wednesday.
I don't like the Wednesday thing.
So I'm confused.
Because people watch it before me. I used to be up early on Fridays, but Wednesday I don't watch Loki till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Right. So my son had to remind me, and I'm like, oh, that's right, it's on. Yeah, let's watch it. And then we watch it, and we're gonna watch it. And I said to my wife, I said, hey, you want to watch it? And she's like, no, that's okay. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it was awful talky. I was thinking that this week, like, because I know my son tries to stay into it, but I'm like, is he gonna watch all this? You know.
I like the talkie though.
No,
I like the chemistry between Wilson and Ellison.
What was your favorite parts?
Did you say Ellison?
No, Hiddleston.
Oh, Hiddleston. Yeah.
Yeah, Harlan Ellison. Yes.
Harlan Ellison's on the show. Who knew?
Oh boy.
Favorite part is when he says, Loki goes, "I'm going to burn this whole place down." And without missing a beat, Owen Wilson goes, "Could you start with my office?"
with my desk,
Yeah, with my. I love that bit. He's just like a burned out, every other worker, civil servant. It's like, here, whatever. Where is the TVA? That's what's freaking me out. They're just in a different realm.
I think so.
Outside of time and space.
No, see, but my comic book mind goes to now. Are they with these shows?
Yeah.
Setting up Falcon to be the next Captain America.
Yes.
With Vision being turned white and out there.
Yeah.
Are they gonna move towards the next phase of Avengers eventually, and is
Yeah.
Kang the Time Conqueror going to be the villain here? Because since the very first Avengers, they really kind of hinted at Thanos, but it took them a few years to get there.
Yeah.
Through the rest of the movie. So I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing, but they're laying the groundwork with these shows. Not that they all have to tie in, but
Now, Ordway and I talked about it on the Power Cosmic podcast, which you should be listening to.
It's a good podcast.
It's two old fat guys at a bar eating pizza and drinking beer, talking about nerd stuff.
Do you actually record it at a bar?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
The waitress comes in. Oh, yeah. It's all part of the show. But we talked about all this is leading up to the Fantastic Four showing up, because we're like, all right, they're going to show you the Celestials, which is a huge cosmic event. They're building up to the multiverses with Doctor Strange and Loki and Scarlet Witch, but there's going to be some cataclysmic event that they're like, what are we going to do? We have this big creature coming to eat the earth. What's going to happen? And out of nowhere, from the negative zone, comes 4 intrepid explorers that were lost for years and enter the Fantastic Four.
They won't be coming from the negative zone. They'll be coming from the quantum realm.
There you go. Just like Michelle Pfeiffer did in that last Ant-Man picture.
Oh, I love it. I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
They're filming that today, I saw. They announced that production began on Quantum Mania, which is
that's what it's called,
3.
right? Yeah.
Which makes me think of Quadrophenia, which was back in the 80s.
Now, the Celestials, didn't they introduce the Celestials with Guardians of the Galaxy? Wasn't Nowhere one of the dead Celestials?
Yeah, his head. Mm-hmm. And then they even said the Ego was kind of one of them, but a smaller version, like a junior size, like a Happy Meal version.
He had a smaller head, so he wasn't allowed to play with the bigger head kids.
No. But so they've entertained, and everyone's like, well, where were the Celestials when Thanos snapped? Now, if you're a nerd, you know that Angelina Jolie's character, Athena, I think it is, she's Thanos' sister from Titan.
Sister or half-sister?
Or half-sister. So, I mean, I have 2 sisters, and I know if I had an opportunity to snap, they would be on the list.
Wow.
They know I'm just kidding. So I think that's why the Celestials were not part of the fight against Thanos, because they were snapped out. Or maybe they were just in hiding. They were like, nah, we can't interfere. I don't.
I think that it's way beyond the Celestials caring.
They don't care.
If you think of, they just don't care.
I like how that guy, what's the guy's name on TVA?
Mobius?
The guy had the drawer full of.
Casey.
Casey.
Yeah.
He's like, are those the Infinity Stones? He's like, yeah, some of the guys use them as paperweights. He just closed the drawer. Didn't care. So much for that. Boy, your life's pursuits as a paperweight. So that's that. What other things are going on in the world of Loki? Well, here's one for you. When this is over, we get What If, and then what do we get? Hawkeye?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you really want Hawkeye?
And then She-Hulk.
Yeah,
and then we get,
you need Hawkeye so you can build up the Young Avengers.
Oh yeah, they're totally making that set.
Yep.
Wanda's kids. Wasn't there a young Hulk? Probably.
Not yet.
They will be. And because it's cheaper to make a Young Avengers.
What if they do the Young Avengers, but they introduce the She-Hulk to be in the Young Avengers?
There you go.
And you could also introduce Kang into the Young Avengers as Iron Lad.
I believe he was in there in one of the stories. Maybe Kurt.
No, he is in there. But that's if you want to bring Kang in slowly.
Yeah.
Bring him in and through the Young Avengers.
Yeah. as a good guy, and then he fights a evil part of the other side.
And I'm really looking forward to Moon Knight. I'm so
Are you?
excited. Yeah, I'm so excited for
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, and Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters. I
I
just
love
I love his look, and I love the old Moon Knight when he
Yes.
was all schizophrenic. Yeah.
Yes, with the Doug Munch. That was my favorite one. I tried reading the newer ones when it was Ellis.
Yeah, the one with the suit. I liked that one a lot
with
because
the
he was all
different
freaky.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I still like the older ones better with Sienkiewicz when he was more of a street crime guy fighting. I don't know who. Morbius.
That character is all kinds of, I don't want to say fucked up because we're a family show, but it's all kinds of messed up because he got his powers from an Egyptian god, and
Yes, Kenosha.
and then he, he's imbued with all these different personalities, but he's kind of like a poor man's, Batman basically.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what the hell was going on with him. They didn't know what to do with him, but they all made it work. And I love that. I love that version of Moon Knight. So I'm kind of hoping it's that, but I know they'll make changes because I like it.
Well, they have Marlene and Frenchie, and
with the multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mitch.
No, go ahead.
With the multiple personalities, it's similar to Batman with Matches Malone. Because he used Jake Lockley as a streetwise person to find out street information. Stephen Grant was the millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Mark Spector who was the mercenary.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but unlike Batman, who uses Matches Malone he uses Matches Malone as a way to gather information. Like Moon Knight was legitimately, there was something wrong there.
Yeah, he was off. Yeah. He needed help. Well, he died and he came back, and he was the spirit of vengeance. No, that's the Ghost Rider. Moon Knight had something.
No, he died, but it was the Fist of Khonshu that they did the death and coming back.
Yeah.
With when Chris Warner drew it.
Yeah. There was 3 or 4 different series of Moon Knight. The original.
I think I need to try and get an original Moon Knight page now.
Oh, really?
Somewhere, yeah.
A
bit expensive.
One?
Are they?
Yeah, it's a bit.
Do you have any way?
No, I don't. None of those.
See, this is going to take me a lot longer than I thought because I'm going to do a lot of shading and stuff with the wrinkles. So,
turn around. Let's take a look.
How long is this wind dig? Well, it's just the preliminary, and now I got to go in and put the detail. See, he was just like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm cranky and I'm old." Yeah. But,
don't throw me down a shaft. Yeah.
Look, last night I did the Scorpion.
Oh, sorry, I went back. Go for it.
There, I was screwing around last night trying to figure out how to do this. I go, look, Scorpion. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
And that started off as a squiggle. I was like, oh, let me do
Here's my Zatanna so far.
See, that's your Franco look. I always know who you are when I see that. You said you don't have a style.
I do. Well, I have a whole bunch of different styles because I do cartoony stuff and real stuff, but I like the pop art stuff more than anything else.
I always tend to rush the drawings because I just want to get it done and get on to another one. And people go, imagine if you took a lot of time with something. I go, no.
No.
I have the next drawing in my head. I'm like, I'm not doing more than I need to. My teachers used to hate that. I had my art teacher was Mr. Picard, just like yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and he would go.
Did he say no? Not like that. Number one. Would he use a number 2 pencil? Would he do that?
Could you just go back and redraw and try some? No, I'm on to something else, buddy. I'm not doing that. My wife will tell you that too when I'm going painting the house. She's like, please keep away. Don't help because you just want to get it done and do something else. I go, it's called multitasking. She's like, no, it's not. It's a form of not laziness, but carelessness, I guess. 28 years, kids. 28 years. Married today. Somehow. She's putting
boy.
That's why
My
she's
brother
like,
celebrated his 40th.
oh, congratulations on that.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I have one coming up. I don't know how long it is.
Oh, no.
27 years? I'm going on
1993 is when I got married.
I got married in 95.
Oh, well, then that would
So
not be 27.
It wouldn't?
26.
26. Yeah, see, I knew what I was doing.
But seriously, kids. I remember when I got engaged, I was bumming because it was the weekend that Batman Returns opens. And we came home, told my folks that we got engaged, and then I ran out the door to go to the movies. They're like,
well,
seriously?
you can't say that she didn't know what she was getting into.
Oh, no, she knew.
There you go.
When she saw those long boxes, I told her they were full of precious gems.
And she didn't leave you on the spot, so she's a keeper.
Yeah, well, I think she took pity on me. She took that thorn out of my paw.
The end of Loki, you're thinking that he went after her because he's doing the right thing, or that he wants to actually team up with her and overthrow everything? You think they're going to keep him as
that's his initial plan, I think, and then he's going to
betray her.
Yeah, that's what he does, because that's what heroes do. Thor.
I like the jacket that they had on him. You know, like a trainee, but his variant.
This is variant.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you think they'll make an action figure of that?
Oh, I think they already did.
And it'll be the variant that you need?
Yeah. I like the aesthetics of the whole place. It reminds me of like the DMV from the 70s and 80s. Like you'd go into those public buildings and you'd be like, oh my God, there's fluorescent lights flickering everywhere. You know,
a lot of orange and browns.
A lot of orange and browns. Yeah. Remember all that fun stuff.
I like that Mobius likes jet skis too.
Yeah.
And why he thinks they're so perfect.
And in a weird world, it's going to end with Loki taking his job, and they pan to a beach in Florida, and there's Owen Wilson riding a jet ski. Here's another thing for you kids. If you find a certain pen that you like, that's the ink flows well, that actually makes you want to draw more. Because you're like, oh my God, that's one of the greatest pens ever. And I have one of those. It's right here.
Are you the artist side of you? Are you like, because I am a pen collector?
Yes.
And notebook guy and sketchbook guy, because I have lots of pens.
Look at all my. These are all the 0.5s and 0.1s. These are all my brush pens over here, and that cup, my Grinch cup, little dog. Then I have all my blue line pencils and my King Kong the movie glass. So I've got a lot of problems.
It is a little scary that it's kind of like the same.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I worked in an art supply store. Where did you grow up in? New York?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember an art supply place called Koenig's?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I used to work there in the mall in Milford, Connecticut. And when I was going to art classes, I stole all my supplies from Koenig's. So there.
Wow. It's a good thing they're out of business, so this way they can't hunt you down now.
I kind of helped make that happen. Because those Rapidograph pens were expensive. I couldn't afford that.
Those were the only things really to ink with besides a brush.
Yes.
And I hated them.
Oh, because
my gosh, I hated them. They would clog and bleed out, especially if you were working on something and it would bled out, and then you get like a big space of blob of ink, and you'd be like, oh my God.
You know what was the worst is when the fibers from the paper would collect on the tip.
On the edge of the tip. Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
Well, then I used to use crow quills with bottles of ink, and they were cheap. They were like 25 cents. And I would stipple and I'd do sketches with that. But That was old school. I mean, it took forever. Did you ever drop a bottle of ink over something?
Yeah, my studio used to be in the other room, in the family room, until I built this studio, because this is part of the garage. But I spilled a bottle of ink onto the carpet, and I got so pissed that, like, I tried to,
you can't
clean it out. My wife was like, "Oh, what are we gonna do now?" So I moved my drawing table over that spot so you couldn't see
that's
it.
a way. I like
So
that.
then our dog was getting older, and she peed on the carpet one night when I came in, and I'm like, "That's it!" And I got a box cutter, and I cut a big hole in the carpet, where she peed. And then I'm like, while I'm at it, I went and I cut a big hole in the space where I dropped the ink.
Yeah.
And my wife came home from work, and she's like, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
And then I said, I got mad because there's stains on the carpet, and I couldn't stand looking at them.
That's crazy.
And then she goes, "What are you going to do now?" And then I ripped up all the carpet.
Buy a new carpet.
No, I ripped up all the carpet, and then I tiled the entire basement.
Oh, wow.
So I learned how to tile. So you could tell where I started in the far left corner, because all the tiles are uneven there.
Oh.
But as you get out here towards the exit of the room, then they're looking better.
You know what? Here's another weird thing. Oh, how can I have low battery on my phone?
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a short one today.
Oh no. Should I just go plug it in?
Sure, do whatever you want.
No, I'm just saying it's at 10%. That'll go off, and then all you'll see is my little sketches. You want to see my pretty face?
Oh man.
I know.
You should plug it in then.
All right.
You do have a question about Loki.
Yeah, go for it.
You go
Andrew
that.
Clark.
I'm gonna go get a charger.
Andrew Clark wants to know, could Mobius be a Loki variant?
I thought so.
I entertained it for about 2.5 seconds, but I don't think so. It can't be.
He sounds too bureaucratic.
Yeah. I'm going to say no on that one. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, I don't think he is a variant, a Loki variant. I just think he's just a
bureaucrat.
Just a guy bureaucrat.
I knocked my toys over.
My brother and D. Brad says good evening.
Hey, welcome.
And an earlier comment from Bruce Jackstone. Sorry. Why not? I guess it dealt with the DC characters. Why not? I mean, DC made Harley Quinn the female Deadpool of the universe for quite some time, and people liked it. I guess it dealt with darker characters we were talking about. And Andrew Clark said, I heard Franco wanted Vin Diesel to play Moon Knight as opposed to Oscar Isaac.
That's not a thing, ever. I don't think I ever said that. That might have been someone else. I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan. Yeah, I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan. Someone was saying that I said I wanted Vin Diesel to play Moon Knight instead of Oscar Isaac, but I don't think that was me.
No, that wouldn't be good.
I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan.
No.
I gotta tell you, when I first heard that he was cast in Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, oh no.
They ruined it.
But I'm glad he was only the voice. Yeah.
I met his twin brother, Vinny. No, Dom. And Dom Diesel. And he makes movie trailers in New York City. Because my friend Keith Voss was a voiceover artist for him. And a lot of those old movie trailers you would see, even if you would see a woman saying a line, it was actually my friend Keith doing voices. And Dom looks just like Vin Diesel, except he has a full head of curly hair.
Wow.
But he talks like him. He's got the same nose, the big head. So it's very odd.
That's a scary thing, I think.
Being the twin of Vin Diesel. He's actually really good. Remember Saving Private Ryan?
No.
He was the guy that got shot, saving the Italian family.
No.
You never saw that movie?
I did. I just don't remember Vin Diesel.
He had a letter to his father, and he was laying there bleeding out in the middle of the rainstorm. And they went and got it from him.
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, okay, Vin Diesel was in that movie. That was probably his.
It was his first, wasn't it?
His best performance. Was that his first movie?
Maybe I'm confusing it with the porn version, Shaving Ryan's Privates. I don't remember him in it.
That's what it was.
Possibly.
Here's another weird Zoom technology thing, whatever, that's come up. I've been told I have spooky eyes.
That's true.
A couple of people write in, they go, "Why is your eye so blue?" I go, "Why are you so stupid?"
Wow.
We just move on. No prisoners when I talk.
Apparently.
Read some of the comments that come into the Terrificon mailbox. So I'm not Stan Lee, not Uncle Stan. More like an angry Tom Carvel.
An angry Tom Carvel.
Yeah. Can you get Robert Downey Jr. to the show? No. Why? Because I don't have $2 million. Why don't you leave me alone? Stop it.
I think I'm mostly done inks.
Are you?
I usually do very thin lines and then go.
Then you go crazy.
I go crazy color-wise.
Yeah. If I had my brush, I could get all these black areas done quicker, but I'm just doing pen.
Right.
Are you gonna talk about the psychology of what you're drawing? Is this your inner soul?
I just like drawing superheroes.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. I always default to drawing superheroes. I can draw portraits and stuff. People always want me to draw portraits.
Really?
My wife and I got into a big argument once because she wanted me to draw a caricature of some friends for a card or something like that. And I
don't do that.
I hate doing that because then people are very upset because it doesn't look like them. It doesn't,
I got hoodwinked into doing the Stanford Police Christmas party for the kids, which is fine, but I would be the caricature artist. And sometimes you draw the kids like you see them, and you can see the look on their face like, you made fun of my nose or my unibrow. And years of psychotherapy, and the father's writing me tickets for traffic incidents I've never caused. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that every Christmas for 5 years. Until I finally got out of it.
When strangers would ask me, I would quote them a really outrageous price because I didn't want to do it, and then they would still say yes sometimes, and I'd be like,
oh shit, now I gotta do it. No.
And I just like doing my own interpretations of I don't know, I don't know why I draw superheroes all the time. It's just it's all I've done since I was a kid.
I was going to say, I've been doing it since I was a kid. Yeah. You would just sit there. My dad would bring home scrap paper because we were poor. And he's like, here, draw on the back of this. Okay.
Well, I grew up in restaurants, and I would draw on placemats. We had the paper placemats in an Italian restaurant, and I would always draw. And to this day, I still draw with ballpoint pen. A lot of my sketches are all in ballpoint pen, because that's the way I learned how to draw, and I'm most comfortable that way.
You know who's great at that is FRANCO. I just got his book, Ballpoint Beauties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all naked women.
Oh my gosh.
But it's fantastic. I've seen him do this at shows. He was at my show in 2018. He takes a ballpoint pen, does a rough outline, and then does these contour lines, and then cross hatching. It's amazing. So, hats off to FRANCO.
Oh.
Self-taught, from what I've been told.
Yeah, because he was studying nursing.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Aren't we all self-taught though? Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
I would argue that, yes.
I used to do my own style. Then you go to school. You know what freaked me out still does is the size.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that in Yoda speak? Why did that? Why does it freak? You know what freaks me out still does? Yeah.
Still freaks me out. Does it? how big the paper that Jack Kirby and those guys were drawn, because, you know, I was drawing an 8.5 by 11 when I was a kid. And then you find out these guys are drawn on 18 by 24 and humongous pages. I'm like, no wonder they have such detail in the backgrounds. I'm like, how the heck do they squeeze all that in there? You know? But what's the biggest surprise you learned when you grew up and started working in comics for real? When it came to art.
Well, I did my own, so like I did my independent stuff, and I didn't really know. Like I had the Marvel, how to draw comics the Marvel way type thing book, but I guess inking was always a thing I never did. You know, I would use ballpoint pen, I would use pencils, and then the person that taught me how to ink was Tom Gill, who used to draw the Lone Ranger strip. So I met him at a show, and he kind of like took me under his wing, and you know, he was having trouble seeing at the time. He was much older, so he wanted me, you know, he was looking for someone to help him, you know, do basic layouts, and he would kind of come in and add some things, and he would, you know, I would use a rapidograph pen or something else, and he's the one who taught me how to ink with a brush. So that, and I don't know what the biggest surprise was. Just that I think the biggest surprise was that I couldn't work for DC or Marvel right away, because you know, back then I didn't think my stuff sucked. It did, by the way. And all the editors I talked to were very right in everything they pointed out. One of the big things for me was, you know, I would send out samples to everybody, and one of the people that wrote back and gave me like super detailed notes was Jim Valentino.
Oh wow!
From Image, like, you know, and I caught up with him at a show a few years ago, and I told him that, you know, I sent him samples, and he winced. You know, he's like, you know, I'm sorry. You know, face. He goes, I apologize. I'm like, no, you know, because he said that, you know, he would do this. And I said, no, it was very helpful, because, you know, I wanted the criticism. I wanted to know what I was doing wrong. And some people, like, you know, they'll look at your stuff and they'll tell you, oh, you got to go back to art school. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not helping me. You know?
Well, when I was in art school, I had to do my internship, and I was going to go work for Mort Walker Studios in Dick Brown. Dick Brown, if people don't know, made Hagar the Horrible. And Mort Walker made Beetle Bailey and High and Lois, and they were in Connecticut. So my art teacher in college got me an interview there, and I showed up on a Sunday with my portfolio, and I was the cartoonist on the college newspaper. And the guy wasn't up yet, but his teenage daughter was there. So she meets me in the living room, and she's looking through my portfolio, and she's cracking up from my comic strips. And one of them was like the history of the couch potato and some other stuff I can't remember. So the dad comes downstairs, here's the daughter laughing, starts looking through my portfolio. He's kind of pissed off already at me. I don't know why. And he says, you can't draw hands. I go, what? He goes, your hands. You don't know how to draw hands well. So go home, practice drawing hands for 9 months, and then come back, or 6 months, I'm sorry. And then I'll think about bringing you over to Mort Walker's studio to work there. And I was like, well, I'm graduating soon. I can't come back. I need an internship. Well, you're not listening to what I'm telling you. I can't help you. And he starts giving me attitude. So I ended up going into graphic design, going to work at the phone company doing ads for the AT&T phone book. Remember the phone book, the yellow pages? I would be the guy that was doing all the mechanicals and all that boring stuff for plumbers and electricians and all those shitty ads. And all because I pissed off
the guy who was going to get you to Mort Walker.
Yeah, he did a comic strip based on the show Laugh-In. Remember Laugh-In?
Yeah.
and he had a syndicated strip. And the funny thing is, I can't remember his name. I used to bother me for years, but I couldn't tell you the guy's name now. So if anybody's out there, look it up. The guy that did the Laughing comic strip is the guy that gave me a hard time and sent me. And the other one who was really nice to me was Mike Zeck, because he lived in New Haven where I grew up, and he and I went to the same comic book store. And my mom would pick up my comics after work because she worked at the phone company, and she would see Mike every Wednesday, and she'd start telling him about what I was doing in school and all this. So who calls my house when I was 17 but Mike Zeck? And he's like, "Hey, Mitch, your mom told me to you don't know what you want to do when you grow up, so ask away." So I sat on the phone with Mike Zeck for about 3 hours and asked him about being a comic book artist and how you made money, because I told him my dad didn't want me to do it. He said, "Go learn a real trade. Don't work with your hands." Because he was Italian. He'd say, "What if something happened? What if you hurt your hand? What are you going to do for a living?" I was like, "Oh, I'll make comic conventions, Dad. You'll see."
Yeah. For me, it was I was sending out these things, like to Jim Valentino, all these other.
Yeah.
I had a stack of rejection letters.
Oh, did you?
One of the things I would send out to everybody. So image stuff was really coming out, and one day I was like super sick. I was home in my parents' house, lying down in bed, eating chicken soup, some cold, and the phone rings, and it's Todd Johnson from Larry Stroman and Todd Johnson. They had that book Tribe.
Yep.
And he called me up out of the blue because he had my samples. And he called me up to tell me how he liked them, how he thought how strong they were, and like I was kind of delirious from the virus side. Yeah. So I'm like I can't believe this guy called me, to talk about my samples like that. That stuff like that would send me through the roof.
Right.
And he said that Larry Stroman looked at him and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and if I keep working on them, to then contact them and whatever, which I never did. Because then I was doing trying to work freelance at production, doing production and stuff like that, and I was trying to do comics on the side, and I was working at my parents' restaurant type thing. So I was living for those things, but they were far and few between when I could actually do them.
I remember being the cartoonist on the Southern Connecticut State University newspaper for 4 years. Every semester I'd start off, I'd get fired by Christmas because I wrote a comic strip. I wrote a comic strip that they didn't like, and they would fire me. And then I'd do a new strip under a new name and would drop them off. And then they figured out it was me, and they'd fire me again. And I worked at a copy shop called Charette. After I got caught stealing supplies over at Conan's Art Emporium, I took my crime to Charette Art Supply. They're out of business too, so I fucked another company up too. And Mike Zeck would come in there, and I would steal his originals. But
now, did he come in there, or were you stalking him at this point?
No, he would come in New Haven. They would go to buy art supplies, so I would have Ordway would come in, Mike Zeck came in, somebody else lived up on Superman. Not John Beatty. Anyway.
Bogdanov?
Who?
John Bogdanov?
Bogdanov, yes. They would all come around because they lived around New Haven and West Haven.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Mitch. You were talking about Roy Doughty.
Roy Doughty, that's it. D-O-T-Y. He's the SOB that told me I couldn't draw hands and sent me on a world of graphic design instead of comic strips. So
yeah, he did the strip from 68 to 72.
And is he dead now?
Yes, died in 2015.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, I'm so broken up right here. Fucking anyway. But I started doing my own comic strip, The Adventures of Mitch and Murley, which is about me and my beer drinking buddy Joe. And it was kind of like Bill and Ted before Bill and Ted were a thing, or Silent Bob and Jay. And I would run them off on the weekend at the copy center when nobody was there. I print up like 12,000 of them, and they were all one pagers. And then I would go to school on Monday and distribute them throughout the campus. And that went on for like 3 or 4 years. And that's the comic book I brought to Howard Chaykin at the New York Comic Con at the Sheraton Hotel in the Avenue of the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon, who's now my wife, was my girlfriend. And we stood in line to meet Howard. And he was my hero because he was a writer artist. And I went up to him with my stuff and I said, how do I get an agent? How do I make money? How much money can I make on this? And he goes, wait, are you doing this just for money or the love of the art? I said, well, I love making money off my art. And he says, well, you know what we call people that take God-given talents and just use them for money? I go, what would that be, sir? We call those people whores.
That sounds like chicken.
You are nothing but a cheap whore. So I was like, and my soon-to-be wife looked right at him and said, boy, you're a real asshole. And he goes, who the hell are you? You with him? She's like, yeah. And I'm just like 2 seconds away from crying. And I'm like, I'm a whore. And Chaykin's like, yeah, get out of here. And I'm like, whatever. So I swallowed my pride and I was walking away and I said, oh, what are you here doing? He said, so I'm promoting my new book, Power and Glory. If you buy a copy, I'll sign it. I go, how much would that be? He's like, oh, it's only $2. And I said, oh, do you want a copy? I said, no, I just want to know that you're a $2 whore.
There you go.
Get out! Get the F out! So they threw me away. And years later, I was at Baltimore Comic Con. This is going to come back. You're going to watch, Franco, how I got this come back. I had to interview Klaus Janson and Walt Simonson about their work on Indiana Jones, which came out 40 years ago this week. See how this is all working? And Howard was next to them. And Klaus said, oh, you should interview Howard. He worked on Indiana Jones too for a couple issues, which he did, issue 6 and 7. I said, okay. So I set up my microphone, waited there patiently. He said, hello, how are you? I said, well, sir, you might not remember me. I am the angel of death. The time of purification is at hand. He says, no, how do I know you? I said, 1994. I was in line. Oh, actually 92. And I told him the story. And I said, depending on the day, I had 2 people in this world that I hated. Adolf Hitler or Howard Chaykin. And depending on the day, it was a toss-up who was number 1 or 2. And he's stunned. He goes, well, 1, I'm sorry. 2, I can't believe you wasted the last, how many years was it at that point? About 18 years. He goes, I can't believe you wasted the last 18 years of your life spending that energy on hatred towards me instead of using it for something constructive. And I go, well, I had nothing else to do. So he says, all right, we do the interview. So the Sunday morning, I'm walking by and he sees me. He goes, hey, could I buy you breakfast? I said, no, that's all right. He goes, dude, I thought about you all night at the hotel, about what you told me. And I felt horrible about it. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm over it now. And he says, no, I shouldn't have said that. And Obviously, you were a delicate flower, so you couldn't take the heat. But the funny thing is now, he's one of my favorite guests. He comes to my show.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost you, Mitch.
Oh, he's gone. He went to go hook up his battery, and he definitely didn't do it right. So here, let's see if we can get him on this other one. Hello, are you there? No. No, he's gone. He's gone. So Howard Chaykin is like that because he yelled at me, and I told this on the IEP podcast, but he yelled at me, but in a good way, because he loved Tiny Titans, and he was swearing up a storm. He's like, "Are you the guy responsible for this?" Swearing, and I was scared, and I thought it was just going to go into some bizarre kind of tirade about hating it, but he loved it, and I was relieved because I'm a big fan. But he's a guy who definitely speaks his mind, and he will let you know how he feels. It's the truth. Did I lose you too, Wayne?
No, we're still here.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
We got anybody out there saying anything? Probably not.
Yeah. If Mitch can hear us.
Can you hear us? Yes,
Okay.
he can hear us.
Well, Andrew Clark says, my buddy has really blue eyes and someone called him ocean eyes once. Feel free to use that.
Waiting for his response, but he's got nothing, so we'll move on.
The other question was, who would you cast as Zatanna, since you're drawing Zatanna?
Oh. Well, that's a good one. I don't know. Who would I cast as her? Oh, that's something that's throwing me for a loop right now. Huh. I don't know. I don't know that I know that answer. There's the girl from she was Lady Sif, but she was also Blind Spot.
Jamie Alexander.
Jamie Alexander. I love her look.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe her. Who else? Mitch has probably got some ideas because we're looking at his chin, but I wouldn't know. Yeah, no, I don't know who you're talking about. Can't hear anything.
No,
Yeah,
can't hear you.
Nope, can't hear nothing. I don't know. Who would you cast, Wayne? Nope, nothing. We'll hear you when you come on.
I really like Jamie Alexander. I thought that was a good call.
Maybe you're muted. Can you unmute Mitch? Says your mic is not connected. So
I'm trying to think who would I'd like someone that's actually like already with black hair, because I don't think you can really do wigs that'll make it look real, or unless you color the hair.
I would say maybe younger, during Smallville days, maybe Erica Durance would be a good Zatanna, because I like her face. I think would look more like her. Yeah. No, we got nothing on you, Mitch. That's for sure. He's working on it. I don't know who else. I don't know. What are some of your suggestions out there? But I would go Jamie Alexander. I don't know who else.
There was an actress in Smallville. Oh, she was Medusa in The Humans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to think about that one some more.
Angelina Jolie.
No. That doesn't work for me. I'm gonna go no on that one. I'm gonna go no on that one. Is that a your call? I guess, or did
Nah,
someone write that?
No, I just put that. I just threw that out there. Geez, it's a harder one because you'd almost want to go like with an unknown.
Right. But we don't know
But
any unknowns, so that's why we got to go with someone we know. I think much younger, Michelle Pfeiffer, because I just love her look.
You're looking for like a classical.
Yeah, right.
Like Kate Blanchett.
Or Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
Kate Blanchett is very beautiful, but I think her features are too angular for I don't know. Look at me picking people apart like I'm a prize, right? Yeah. So I don't know if
I was thinking just because of watching the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Ooh. You would pick Mutt Williams?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he'd be perfect.
Well, if Mitch ever comes back on, we should talk to him about. Oh, maybe he's here. Let's see.
I'm
sorry. There he is.
I'm back. Yes, I heard Indiana Jones about to be talked, so I popped back in.
Yeah, I was going to say we were going to talk about Indiana Jones, and we were going to talk about.
There we go. Here, by the way, I'm done with the Emperor. He kind of looks like a weird.
Nice. Let's take a look.
No, he looks like the Toxic Avenger.
I like him.
There he is. He's a happy Emperor. Yeah. Whatever.
So before we get to Raiders, who would you pick as your pick for Zatanna? Actress-wise.
Back in the day, Adrienne Barbeau.
Ooh, okay.
The girl that you mentioned in the Inhumans, she played her on Smallville. Her name is like Selena.
Serinda Swan.
Serinda Swan. Yeah, she had the look that you wanted to know better. The look that's all together. Jordache. Isn't that the thing? You don't remember?
Possibly. I don't remember any of that.
You grew up in the. Yes, Rick Cerrone used to do the commercials for him from the Yankees. But who else is a gorgeous actress that would be a good Zatanna? I don't know. That's it. You guys.
Back in the day, Karen Allen.
No. You gotta have oomph. Karen Allen does have oomph. Karen Allen, you take home to mom, you hang out, bake cookies, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Zatanna would be very exotic looking. Maybe who would be a cool Zatanna? No, I think I just came up with it.
Oh, you know who? We tried to get her for the show. Joan Severance.
Back in the day, yes. Not even.
Not now.
No. You know who I would pick? She was on The Good Place. Jamila Jones, is that her name? She was on the Good Place, and she does that game show with the guys from the Jokers, the Impractical Jokers guys. I think.
I don't know. I'll take your word for it. Here, I'll draw like Scotty Young. I'm gonna do a Scotty Young drawing. I love Scotty Young. He's like a magazine guy.
I like that guy. I've had I hang out with him and we've had dinner a few times and really? Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, I hate him.
You hate him
because he's so talented, but I love the guy because he's such a good guy.
I would love to have him at Terrificon. I don't know how to get a hold of a lot of these people, but I try.
Well, I can now give you know. Info. Yeah.
No, because it's another sad secret about Terrificon. I only get people that I like.
Oh man.
People go, "Can you get this guy?" I go, "No," and I don't tell them why.
So now, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, back to that.
Do we like the movie? Do we not like the movie?
I think so. Yeah.
How do we feel? We're going to spoil it for those of you that are out there.
Yeah. I saw.
I just watched it again today, actually, because I haven't watched it in a while.
Well, I saw it at a sneak preview a week before it opened with a movie called Bustin' Loose with Richard Pryor and I was gonna say Cicely Tyson, maybe.
Isn't that weird? I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade as a double feature with the Dream Team with Michael Keaton and Peter Boyle
and Christopher Lloyd.
Right?
Yeah. My grandmother, God rest her soul, Italian grandmother, Amelia Sifilippi, ran out of the theater when the snakes came on because she was terrified of snakes.
Oh, really?
And I'm sitting there going, I'm 13, I can't drive. So do I leave? Or do I just stay and watch the movie? I stayed and watched the movie. And she came back eventually, to get me. And it was the greatest movie I ever saw since Star Wars. And I thought it was like the adventures of Nick Fury, from Sergeant Fury, because we were all into war comics because they were cheap. And a lot of us had older brothers, and they always had Sergeant Fury comics and Sergeant Rock. So I said,
Do you think The Rock should play Sergeant Rock?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I think Chris Rock should play Sergeant Rock.
Oh.
It's in the name. And I always thought of Indiana Jones as a version of Nick Fury before the Marvel movies existed.
Now you went like freaky bat crazy with that, because haven't you done like a podcast for the last 40 years about Indiana Jones?
Listen here, man. I was in Entertainment Weekly magazine trying to get a part when they filmed it in New Haven. And I started working on a website called theraider.net, which is the world's only Indiana Jones website. And then I did a podcast, and I still do for 14 years, called
14.
the IndieCast.
14 years.
And we actually have something to talk about now because they started filming a movie last week, and it'll be good. But here's the dilemma. Guess when it opens?
On your anniversary?
No. I'd be in the movies. It opens on July 29th, 2022. You know when Terrificon starts?
July 29th?
2022.
So you're not going to be at your own show?
I won't be at my show. My wife goes, I'll kill you. I'm like, I don't care. It's Indiana Jones. What are you doing? So, yeah.
So why have you been doing a podcast for the last 58 years about Indiana Jones?
Because it's the greatest movie ever. And Harrison Ford's my guy,
And now you've met Harrison Ford as well.
Yes, I have. Do you want me to tell you these stories? I met Harrison Ford April 22nd, 1999. I remember it because it was Earth Day. And I was not drinking, though there might have been alcohol involved.
On his part?
On someone's part. And what happened is I got a picture with him. We were at Chelsea Pier in New York City at a benefit for the environment called the River Keep, which was done by Robert Kennedy Jr.
Uh-huh.
And Harrison's there. I got my picture, and we talked about the new Star Wars movie opening, which was The Phantom Menace. I said, do you want to see it? He says, no. And that was good enough. And I went to turn to leave. And this woman comes running up. She's very excited to meet Harrison. And she gave me one of those old 110 Kodak cameras. You remember those? They look like kind of like this thing. That thing.
Yeah.
So she says, "Oh my God, Harrison Ford! Oh, I love you!" And she's freaking out. And she goes, "Take my picture with him." So she gives me the camera. It's at night. We're outside. It's dark. I put the thing up to my eye, like that, and I go, "I can't see you through a viewfinder." She goes, "It's all set. Just point and click." I don't think this is going to work. So he's getting nervous. He's like, "Hurry up." I go to click. The shutter is not on the right side. It's on the left. My brain says, maybe it's a European camera. Don't know what that means. Like they drive on the other side of the road. Maybe they snap pictures on the other side. So I take my finger and I press down on the shutter. And as it's happening, I could see Harrison Ford looking like, "No way!" Bam! I had the camera backwards. I was looking through the shutter. I pressed the button. The flash went off in my eye. He goes, "You just took a picture of your eye." I can't see anything. It's all that green blobby stuff from the bulb going off. The woman is so mad because she had like no pictures left. And I give Harrison Ford the camera because I can't see. He gives it back to me. I give it to him. The woman grabs it out of my hand, goes, "You asshole. I only had one more picture left." She's over there winding it like this, trying to get more film. I can't see. My wife has taken off. She's hiding in a closet. She doesn't want to know me. So we go to do the picture again. Harrison Ford takes the camera, puts it up to my eye, says, "How many fingers am I holding up?" I go, "2. He goes, "You sure?" "Yeah. Let's try this again. I'm going to look. You're going to look at me. You're going to press the button." I mean, "Shut up, Harrison Ford." So take the picture. I assume it comes out right. I don't know. So I walk away. I find my wife. She's mortified. People are pointing at me like, "Look at that idiot." Harrison Ford comes towards me. My wife goes, "Oh, shit. What did you do now?" He puts his hand out, and I think he's going to hit me. But he goes, "I'll tell you, I got millions of pictures taken of me, but I'm going to remember this one." Thanks. So all night long, we're at these dinner tables. You know, it's like 8 to a table. So I would get up to the bar, and every time I would get up, he was telling that story to his friends, and he'd go, "And there's the guy right now. Click, click." And I'm like, "Yeah, haha, funny." So that's my encounter with Harrison Ford. And
You know, 2 things about that story. One,
it's sad but true.
that lady when she got those developed,
She's got a picture of my retina.
She's got a picture of your ice blue eyes, and she's like, "This idiot is the one that took the picture of me and Harrison Ford." And you know, she kept that photo. She didn't even throw that out. You know, she kept that.
Yes. Somewhere there's a picture of my eyeball.
And 2, I love the fact that at any time Harrison Ford will know who you are.
By that, yeah. When they were filming the movie in New Haven in 2007, actually it was this week. It was in June. I went down there to watch the filming with Spielberg and Lucas, and my friend said, "When you saw Harrison Ford, you should have screamed out, 'Hey, Harry, it's me,' and take your camera and held it backwards and take another picture of your eye and see what he would have done." I was like, "Yeah, that's not funny." But
that's hysterical.
Yeah, me and Harrison Ford. But that doesn't explain why I do the podcast. I do the podcast because why not?
Well, because you love the movie so much.
No, but when we started it in 2007, they said they were going to make a whole new trilogy. So we just been waiting for the next movie. And we didn't know it was going to take this long. So it is what it is, you know. And here we are.
Well, what's your everybody's favorite has to be Raiders, right?
Yeah, it is.
Has to be.
It is.
What's your least favorite?
I like them all, but I gotta say the Crystal Skull goes south right
Pretty
when they go
fast.
in the jungle. Yeah, when they start talking to William Hurt, not John Hurt. What William Hurt would be a better movie, you know? What's that guy doing here? It's the Spider Woman. So I don't know, people see my drawing upside down, my Scotty Young.
Now, Wayne, you were telling me that it's pretty much the perfect movie, right?
It is.
Oh, it is.
That's what
The
you're
first
saying to me?
movie's perfect from start to finish. No slow points in it. There's no dead space. There's nothing. There's nothing that you would want to like. Hey, it's time to run off, go to the bathroom, or get some popcorn.
No.
You just want to watch it from beginning, and it told it within about a 2-hour time period.
It is 2 hours exactly. Yeah.
It does go by pretty quick
Mhm.
when you're watching that.
Now, who's the genius behind it? That Spielberg, Lucas, or a bit of both?
It's got to be both
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it was Lucas's original idea, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then Spielberg is just like a master storyteller in that one.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I
They
gotta
were-
think though, like
What?
you know, all the Nazi symbolism and you know
Yeah.
the Nazi flags in there and everything. You know, there's the same guy that did Schindler's List and
Yeah,
stuff
but that
like
was
that.
years later.
No, I understand that, but you know, like to be doing a movie like this as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just thought it was just great.
Well, he said after he made Schindler's List, looking back, he could never do a movie like Raiders with cardboard cartoon Nazis, you know, after he did the story about the real deal. And that's why they're filming the new movie with James Mangold
Right.
that has Nazis in it. And everyone's like, well, that's probably why Spielberg didn't want to do it. So it's all about Germans, the space race.
Right. Oh, is it really? Huh.
Yeah, it takes place in 1969 when they're trying to go on the moon. And Mads Mikkelsen's in it.
Oh, I like him.
Baron Strucker, who I got to interview at New York Comic Con. And if I knew he was going to be an Indiana Jones movie, I would have paid more attention. But he was Baron Strucker. How did you like Temple of Doom? Short round.
I like Temple of Doom just because it was so different from Raiders.
Yeah.
You know, it had the same feel, but it was just totally like, you know, in the jungle and it's just you know, I was really influenced by the video game that was in the arcades. That was in the arcades. Kalima, Kalima, you know.
There's a place in New Haven called Barcade that has old 80 video games, and they have that there. So you can come here and we can play it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. When COVID's over.
It's New Haven, they've lifted it. So no, Karen Allen, she was my sweetheart. I saw her in that movie. I said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna marry Karen Allen. She was the best." But
how'd that go?
She's a little older than me, but you know, Karen, it's the same. Plus, she was in Animal House. Remember her?
Yes, and Starman. I remember that as well.
Starman, Animal House, East of Eden, which was a TV movie back in the day. So that's my Karen Allen obsession. That's the reason why I do the podcast. It's not because of Indiana Jones.
It's because of Karen Allen?
And stalking Karen Allen. Yeah.
So were you like really excited when she came back in the Crystal Skull?
Yeah, sure. Well,
so you weren't. That's what you're saying.
Aged. Everyone aged. It's like I still remember her in Raiders when she looked back then. Like Carrie Fisher. Were you a big Carrie Fisher fan? I never was like had a
No.
crush on her. Yeah, neither did I. People are like, "Oh, she's so adorable and the princess." I'm like, yeah, okay. Never thought she was no Karen Allen, that's for sure. But Princess Leia was feisty and tough. But Marion Ravenwood was the real deal. She could beat you up, drink you under the table.
You think they'll ever go back and do a Ravenwood series of movies
About her?
with the dad?
Oh, that's what somebody suggested is in this new movie, because the guy that played Zola, Arnim Zola, was seen in World War II footage with Harrison Ford in England last week, and they said maybe he plays Abner Ravenwood, but we'll see. She said he was killed. So
I saw something on the interwebs about Harrison Ford getting mad at paparazzi people or something.
Yeah.
This last week.
I love that. Harrison Ford is just a cranky old bastard. These people are chasing him down the street, and he's got the finger out. And he's like, "Get the away from me! I told you I'm not doing any fucking pictures." Yeah. You go, Indy. He just doesn't want to deal with it, you know.
Why is he still making movies if he's a cranky?
They should have taken a picture of their eyeball, and he would have said, "Oh, it's you." Then he would have done it. So I don't know. I mean, you've gotten cranky? I've been with you at conventions.
I don't get cranky. That's not a thing.
Yeah,
it's true. I get cranky sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, you've never seen me cranky or angry. That's a
you're
thing.
not John. You're not Johnson.
No.
Few people are.
I usually don't. I try not to anyway. Doesn't mean I don't, but.
Wayne, can you picture Franco getting mad?
No, not at all. He never gets mad at me. No.
Try not to.
He's the best to work for. Yes.
See, this is what I pay Wayne for.
Yeah. I'm liking how my little Scotty Young ripoffs come up. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Oh, there he goes. Let's go large.
It's upside down, but look at that. See?
Yeah.
It's easy to draw like somebody else. God forbid you put your own name out there, you know.
I got some stuff happening here on Zatanna.
Yeah, loving the Zatanna.
Oh, thank you.
You might have a career in this. Hey, Super Pets is coming on. What is that? HBO Max?
I think so, maybe, or movies. Probably the movies.
You involved in that?
None whatsoever.
Oh.
No. Nope.
So I remember
they didn't contact us or ask us anything, so yeah.
My boy Owen used to love reading Super Pets by Franco and Bart. I was going to call him Barthazar.
Yeah, that's
his name.
That's a combination of both his names. Yeah, so that's good. Barthazar. That works.
Yeah. Sounds like somebody from Battlestar Galactica. He betrayed us to the Silence. He would like that.
Ooh, speaking of Cylons, you know, if we're going back to the Zatanna thing,
yeah,
Grace Park, I would pick her as well, I think.
Okay, keeping on the Zatanna role, Stuart Greenberg says the actress who plays Darcy, and I'm wondering if he's talking about Kat Denning.
No, I couldn't picture Kat Denning as.
He also suggested Charisma Carpenter.
Yeah, I love Charisma.
Yeah.
D. Brad said, "How about the actress from Knives Out, Ana de Armas?"
Oh, she's gorgeous with those beautiful blue eyes. She was in the Blade Runner movie. Yes, she's something. Yes.
And then I was thinking it just hit me was Katrina Law
Katrina Law is fantastic. She's been at Terrificon.
or Marina Baccarat.
Yeah, I don't.
Gotham.
Yeah, she's again like I don't picture Zatanna as someone with very angular features, and Marina has that very angular features. You know,
there's this spokeswoman for Bang Energy drink named Sophia Beverly. She would be a good Zatanna. That's just me. So Google her or Instagram. She's one of those influencer people.
I don't know what that is.
That means they have lots of followers and they tell you to go buy this or that, and you do it because you're part of
you're under the influence.
You're under their influence. It's kind of like the Enchantress, who people thought that was at the end of Loki. I go, no, it's Lady Loki. It's not the Enchantress.
Yeah.
Why can't you get this through your head?
She's the smarter Loki.
Right.
Yeah, non-comic people were very confused by all of that Lady Loki thing.
I still don't know why.
But we thought about that after episode 1 that it was going to be Lady Loki.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's because we're ahead of the curve on this show, Wayne.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, you
not really. We're wrong about everything.
No, were you wrong about WandaVision? I never thought Mephisto was going to be on it. I was like, no, why would he? People are like, he's the bad guy. No, he's not. So, what
D. Brad was 10 years old when he saw Raiders 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And did not know that a movie could make his heart race like that.
Right? It was like really pulse pounding, right?
How many times did you see it in the theater?
Couple times.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember because it was 40 years ago, so it's hard to remember.
No, I think I saw it like 13 times because there was no VCR and nothing much really to do except go play Space Invaders or Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. And
some of us had to work for a living, Mitch.
You were 13. You were in the coal mines?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Family business, so same difference.
Oh, all right. I was just...
I know I went out after... I bought the LP soundtrack from it.
Yep.
Like I did with the Star Wars movies.
Yep.
Because I just love John Williams' score.
Fantastic. And what else came? Oh, Superman 2 came out that year. That was a good one. Margot Kidder. She was up there. I mean, she was no Karen Allen, but she was feisty. You know what sucks about Drunk Captain America? You screw this shield up, you screwed it up. I just screwed it up right there. Just look at that.
Drunk Captain America.
That's what you call whiteout, and you just gonna fix that right there. So, what superhero don't you like to draw, Franco? Say Spider-Man. The webs.
No, Spider-Man is one of my favorite ones to draw. I draw him all the time. I draw him too much, actually. I need to stop.
How do you like? Do you like drawing the webs?
I do. It's this thing. Spider-Man's always been my favorite character.
Yeah.
Ever since ever. And I never get tired of drawing him. Never get tired. I screw up the webs all the time.
Yeah.
But I will still always draw him.
How about The Thing? He's one that I love, but it's a pain to draw because you get those rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you draw the lumpy thing.
The lumpy one, yeah, that's easy.
But he doesn't look like the Thing to me. The lumpy one looks like mashed potatoes.
I've been told by Mr. Jerry Ordway, artist extraordinaire, that there's a secret to doing The Thing. Once you get like in a pattern, it's not that hard. So there's Joe Sinnott. They all had a trick for drawing The Thing. So,
well, what is it? Don't keep us in suspense.
I just told you. He said it's a pattern. You just have to once you get into it, you go right down. You basically draw the shape of the thing. It's a big blocky guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just start making these little rock patterns, and that's it. The secret is really in the inking, which Sinnott did better than anybody else. He would just go in there and highlight some of the rocks and make it look like there was more weight to it. But here's one you never draw: Jack of Hearts.
Oh, I do draw him. I've drawn him
costume.
recently. Within the last year or so, I've drawn him. But I don't draw him often. You're right. Not
Keith
often,
Giffen,
but I do.
Keith Giffen would charge so much money when people asked him to draw that because he came up with the costume. He's like, oh, what was I thinking? One of the hardest costumes to draw. But what's the easiest one to draw? Swamp Thing? Man Thing?
Torch?
You think so?
Maybe.
With those little lines everywhere?
Oh, those are easy, yeah. You just follow the contour of the body.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see the World War II ones? Like, you don't even know what you're looking at. So
yeah.
There's a little cap. Where is it?
So were you a big collector of the
Look at that.
Indiana Jones comics? You mentioned them before when you were interviewing those guys.
I have all the series. I have original art.
Oh, do you from the comic?
Yeah. Steve Ditko worked on those.
Yeah.
I don't have those, but
I was about to say that.
I don't have the Ditko. Ordway worked on some uncredited. I found out 2 or 3 pages.
Really?
Yeah, he never had them, and I had duplicates. And he's like, "Oh yeah, look." And when you know which pages to look for, issue 7, it's Jerry Ordway faces, and you can tell a mile away. Now that you know, so yes, I have all that stuff here. If I turn the camera around, there's posters, there's toys, statues.
Wow.
There's a bank. Look at that.
But that's what I mean. Like that's one of the things that fascinates me too, because that's kind of cool.
Kind of.
One of the things that fascinates me is fandom in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like why was it Indiana Jones for you more than any other thing?
No, I liked Han Solo before, and you know what's weird? I never saw Indiana Jones as Harrison Ford. Well, I know it's Harrison Ford, but people would tell me, "Oh, that's Han Solo," and I really thought they were totally different actors. So,
characters or actors?
No, character, but I never looked at him at the same way. People are like, "Oh, that's just Harrison Ford." I go, "No, it's a totally different character." I mean, like certain actors, like William Shatner's William Shatner and everything. Al Pacino is now Al Pacino and everything. Robert De Niro.
Al Pacino's become like a caricature of himself.
But back then, when Raiders came out, I never once looked up at the screen and said, "Oh, look, that's just Han Solo in a hat." You know, he seemed to do a totally different performance, but he was really good at it.
Yeah, for me, it was like a love letter to the 40 serials.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. You know, my dad loved James Bond. That was his go-to. He loved Sean Connery. And I never got into Sean Connery because I thought he was kind of too mean. I was like, this guy's a jerk, slapping people around. But Indiana Jones, he was like my James Bond, you know.
But you know, you think about that movie. You know, watching it again, he killed a lot of people in that movie.
That's about 30 people. Yeah. And then they'll tell you,
and it's a kids movie.
It is PG. We were tougher back then. That's why we're like the way we are now. Uncaring, cranky bastards.
Well, I have another question for you after you finish this. Remind me.
No, I was just going to say about they say if you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Indiana Jones being in that movie has no effect on the outcome because the Nazis still open the Ark,
right?
And they all melt away, and that would have happened whether he was there or not.
Right, right.
I hate that. Anyway,
so my question is, all of the movies came out distributed through Paramount.
Yeah.
Now this one's coming out through Disney.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that Paramount transition? That logo?
That's a good question.
Do you think they're going to pay some sort of homage to it, or probably not because it's Disney?
No, just like we don't care. We want this,
right?
Just like 20th Century Fox used to open the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Disney's like, nope, screw it.
Screw it. We just go right into the movie.
So what they could do is have like a silhouette of Space Mountain.
Oh yeah. Or they'll just open with a castle, and since this new one that takes place in a Nazi castle in Indiana Jones, you show the Disney castle, and then the camera moves in and dissolves into a World War II Nazi trap. We'll see if that. I don't think they'll like their logo being turned into Nazi headquarters.
I don't think Walt will care.
No. But you know what pisses me off is they promised to make all these Indiana Jones movies of the years, and they didn't do it. And now you got an 80-year-old guy, and you're struggling to make one last movie. Like, why couldn't you have done 10 of them by now?
Well, you know, Art had a brilliant idea about those.
What's that?
You know, opening up the next movie, you'd open up with the sequence, you know, an action sequence, and you'd be able to tell that, you know, it's a younger person.
Yeah.
Definitely not Harrison Ford. But then, you know, he loses the hat and he picks it up, and when he goes to put it on, you see that it's an adult short round.
Oh.
And I thought that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Nobody ever had the balls to do it, but I thought that was brilliant as far as storytelling.
He was at Terrificon 2015, one of the nicest guys you ever meet, Akihu Kwan. And he had stories about meeting Michael Jackson, Princess Diana, all these 80s icons, because he was at the premiere of Goonies and Temple of Doom. So he got to meet all the royals and Spielberg and Lucas. And he got Mike Jackson. He said, I was at Michael Jackson's house. And then he goes like this, no funny business, though. I was like, okay, sure. And my wife yelled at me because he shows up at the hotel and I had to take him to his table. I go, hey, Short Round, come on, we got to go. You got it. And she goes, did you just call him Short Round? I'm like, yeah, sorry. I called Adam West Mr. Batman. He didn't blink. He didn't care.
Now, did you do it on purpose, or it just kind of came out?
I interviewed Chris Evans at New York Comic Con, and on the audio, you can hear me call him Cap. And he doesn't blink either. He's like, yeah, what's up? He just responds to it. I'm like, well, he thinks he's Captain America.
It's got to be a thing that happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
funny.
They don't call you by your real name, Herschel. Uh-oh. That's not supposed to be out there.
Oh, is that his real name?
No, you.
Oh, my real name. Yeah, that's true. Sorry. It was so buried that I didn't even know that was my name.
You go like Elvis. You have one name. Like Charo.
I do. People ask me that all the time. Like, why do you do that? Because, you know, everybody misspells my name all the time. Because it's Aureliani.
Yeah, I know your name because I had to book you at the hotel. Yeah,
so it's people screw it up all the time. So in comics, I'm like, it's just Franco. And then in teaching, they screw it up anyway.
Oh, do they?
So yeah, the kids can't pronounce it, and I'm always getting paperwork that's messed up with my name and stuff.
What do they call you? It's Mr. A? Mr.
Yeah, Mr. A, yeah. Well, they call me a whole bunch of things.
Oh, to your face, though.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, Mr. A.
Like the Steve Ditko comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go around hurting people.
I don't know, Wayne. We got anything else out there from people?
Yeah, Matt Alley, I just recently found at my parents' house the original soundtrack to Raiders.
Yeah.
Still very cool artwork on the cover of the movie
Richard
poster, we all
himself.
know.
Mhm.
Funny story, as a kid, I realized quickly I could have put my allowance to better use instead of purchasing an entire instrumental album. My young brain didn't appreciate then. D. Brad said, "Did you guys like Harrison Ford in Force 10 from Navarone?"
Yeah.
Navarone.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
was kind of. I always thought of it as an Indiana Jones World War II adventure. Like
Yeah,
they
because
just
he says,
change his name. Yeah.
yeah, he said, "I pretended it was him as Indiana Jones."
Yep. I did the same thing.
And
Now,
another,
oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, another comment, D. Brad. Years ago, I wanted Jet Li to play the adult short round.
Ooh, that would have
Oh,
been good. You know who they were supposed to get in that movie? Danny DeVito was Sala. You all know that Tom Selleck was supposed to be Indiana Jones.
right.
They couldn't get out of his contract. Deborah Winger tested for Marion. That would
Oh,
have
I
been
didn't know that.
different. Yeah,
Wow.
there's screen test footage of her. I don't think that would have worked. But who else chose? Oh, Tim Matheson tried to be Indiana Jones.
That I've seen.
Yeah.
I'd seen that.
Marsha Brady auditioned for Marion.
Oh wow, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
She fell asleep in the interview.
Did she really?
Yeah, she had some problems back then.
Oh wow.
That's all we're gonna say. And Spielberg was like, "No, she's not even awake."
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, remember Marsha. She
Yeah.
could have been Marion. Could have been.
Talk about a career change and trajectory,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Speaking of Harrison Ford,
You never finished your question about fandom. You asked like, why this or what about fans? And you could have stopped.
oh, what? No, my question was, what is it? What is
Oh,
it that
what about
sparks the fandom? Like, like what is it that sparked it for Indiana Jones for you? For me, it was definitely Star Wars, just because sitting in that theater,
Yeah.
I didn't get out much, and definitely comics. Spider-Man, like for me was a big one. But what was it about? What was it about Indiana Jones that? Because I know you're a Star Wars fan. You're a comic book fan in general, but a lot from you is Raiders and Indiana Jones. So what was it about that kind of stuck with you? And
I think he was a school teacher, and I went to Catholic school, and it was very strict. And I just remember going to the museum at Yale. It's called the Yale Peabody, and that was like right down the road from my school, and I'd go there all the time. And I didn't even know what an archaeologist did. So when I saw it on the screen, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like the guy that finds the mummies and all those rocks down the street at the museum. And you could be this guy. You could actually go to school and go around the world. And my grandfather traveled the world. He was in World War II, and he would tell me stories about Australia and Russia and Germany. And I was like, wow, you could actually leave here and go see all these things around the world. And the funny thing is, I hated New Haven growing up because it never changed. It looked like something from the 40s and the 50s. and I would say you could film a movie set in the 50s and you would never have to redress the streets because it looks exactly the same. And sure enough, they come to film Indiana Jones right in New Haven because it looks just like it did in the 50s. And that was weird, going down the street and seeing Harrison Ford on a motorcycle right down the road from the movie theater that I used to go to see him as Indiana Jones with my grandmother. So that was very surreal. So it's a good thing I picked the right hero to like So that's that. I think it's like I said, you could be Indiana Jones. I could go out there and go on adventures with my dog.
Speaking of Harrison Ford, did you guys ever see the Western with him? Was it with him and Gene Wilder?
Frisco Kid.
The Frisco Kid.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was in that too, right?
No, he was in a movie called The Villain.
The Villain, that's right. I always get the two confused.
Kirk Douglas. And,
right.
Maybe Anne Margaret.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I always get those two confused.
Well, they're both kind of bad in a way.
Yeah.
No, the Rabbi movie with Gene Wilder is the Frisco Kid. And where did you see that? In the theaters or on TV?
No, VHS. We rented from somewhere.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What's that bad Harrison movie? Devil's Own. That's a bad one with Brad Pitt. Did you like
the Irish one, wasn't it? Like Irish Terrorism?
Yeah, that's the Devil's Own. Did you like Blade Runner when it came out?
Yes, loved it.
I did, yeah.
I remember my mom saw it because it was rated R, and you couldn't go into a rated R movie. And she said they'll be talking about this movie 30, 40 years from now because it's so far ahead of its time. Mom Hollywood, she knew what she was talking about. They're still talking about it. But
all right, let's see finish things and we'll skedaddle while Wayne tells us if there's anybody else out there saying anything.
We have a hello from It's Foxy.
Oh, hi, it's Foxy.
Yeah, it says, hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. It's looking pretty good.
Looks like Scotty Young.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Little chubby Captain America. Yay. Hey, kids. Don't eat your Twinkies, and you can fight Nazis when you grow up. And don't let Mitch draw the shield because he fucked it up.
And this is a Tana in process. Ain't finished. Ain't nowhere near finished.
No.
I'm gonna go in and finish the rest of it. Finish background. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen in the back. A lot of my stuff always looks so very plain in the ink stage, and then comes together with color because I do
flourish it with color.
You do.
I do color. I do other color on top, and then I do color pencil on top, and watercolor markers and color pencils. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
You heard it here, kids. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Wow.
But cool. We've been on for a couple hours, so
I know.
I
always wonder who these people are that watch it for a couple hours.
Well, there's definitely the one person who watches it.
Well, besides Wayne.
So, well, then nobody else. Then.
Oh.
I'm sure there's a couple people out there, but
there are.
Couple of things. We will not be here. We might not be here next week because I will be in Chicago visiting my friend Art, and we're going to be out at the store. And even if we do, maybe Wayne won't be on because we'll do something from the store, but I doubt it. So we're going to have to do episode 3 and 4 of Loki when we get back after that, possibly. So yeah. So we might not be here next week. Go buy tickets to Terrificon if you're in the area, because it'll be a show. We'll be out there.
It'll be a show.
It'll be in Uncasville, Mohegan Sun Casinos.
Mohegan Sun Expo Center, July 30th to August 1st.
Yeah,
it's only a 10-hour drive from where I live.
Yeah, and Wayne's going. Wayne will be there.
Yep.
So it'll be good. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for hanging out tonight and drawing. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. You know what? Tell your wife happy anniversary. I'm not telling you happy anniversary.
I'll hear about this for a long time.
She'll text me and say thank you for wishing her happy anniversary.
I heard about that today. She's like on Facebook. It's like 300 strangers are wishing me happy anniversary. I go, they love you. You're the queen of the nerds. You're the Mrs. Terrificon.
So good times. Thank you for coming and hanging out and drawing.
Somebody could have this at Terrificon. Come by and say you watched this 3-hour epic show, and this could be yours. So
nice.
Look at that.
Nice.
I can't wait to go talk to Johnny Suntress about Star Trek in August.
Yeah, that's going to be starting up again because Lower Decks is starting, right?
Yes, it is.
Eesh. So yeah,
Looking forward to those.
Those will be fun. Johnny will yell at us for everything. It'll be fun times.
Stop talking. Stop texting.
See, I didn't do any of that here.
That's what we need to do. We'll just draw the entire time he's talking about Star Trek, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Cool.
Like, poor Johnny. We love Johnny.
Thanks, guys. I'll have the Zatanna maybe finished up, and I'll put it up sometime this week, and show you finished stuff. But thanks for coming. I know we didn't talk about a lot about Raiders, but we had fun and we did some drawing, and I hope you guys did too. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.